You're now listening to the Palmetto Dugout Show, hosted by State Director Sammy Esposito, Associate Scouts Drew Stewart and Sean Smith, that discuss all things related to amateur baseball in South Carolina. Here are your hosts.
Welcome into high school preview number 13, this time with East Clarendon and Coach Johnson. What's going on, Coach?
What's up, man? How are you? I like the number 13. That was my number in college, so it works out.
See, it worked out perfect here. He was a little fired up with me here with the jersey behind my head. But we won't jump into that too much. Coach, let's start this thing off. Let's talk about last year, some lessons as well as the things that happened.
Man, Scott Cook was the head coach, and Coach Cook did a great job with our guys as a head coach. I was a pitching guy, just dealt with the pitchers mainly, and Coach Cook kind of ran the offense, and we worked together on the defense. We were 22-9, won our region championship. We actually, in our region, we got Hemingway, Scotts Branch, those guys in our region, Carvers Bay. Carvers Bay is much improved, but Carvers Bay, and then Johnsonville. So it's really a two-man race is what it was last year in our region between us and Johnsonville. And Johnsonville came over here and beat us the first game 3-1. Baxley kind of shoved it up our tail. And then Reed Baxley. And then we went over there and we 10-run them, beat them 11-1, won the region championship. And then we went through the playoffs and won our district, and then lost in the first game to Lakeview. Ended up putting Latta out, defeating Branchville, putting Branchville out. And then we went to Lower State Championship game in Lakeview. We were up 2-1 going in the last inning, had 2 outs, and they got a hit. We made an error. They ended up beating us 3-2. They kind of walk us off. But back-to-back years, we've lost in the Lower State Championship game. So, but it was a good year. A lot of good things. Had some good players. Did a lot of good things on the mound. Struggled a little bit offensively, but it was good. We have some things we needed to improve on and kind of roll.
Well, good. Now, obviously, kind of rolling over yourself now, taking the reins over there, kind of outside of yourself returning, talk about some returners in that program, some guys you're looking to help lead you guys kind of taking that next step and hopefully getting into the state championship.
Yeah, so we get Jay-Sean Montgomery back. Jay-Sean, he was a pitcher DH for us. He was an all-state player on the mound. He was 4-3. His record wasn't great, but the games he lost was like he lost to West Florence, he lost to Sumter, he beat Johnsonville, beat Green Sea Floyds in the playoffs, beat Latta in the playoffs. So he won some big games for us in 1A. He had a 1.5 ERA. What was awesome about him was he had 51 strikeouts, only 12 walks. So it was a good thing. I think he ended up throwing like 32 innings and had 51 strikeouts, so he was good. So we're excited about him. He had a great summer. We played in the little Sandlapper League. We had 3 teams in the Sandlapper League, and he threw 15 innings and struck out 21, had a 0.4 ERA. So we're excited about having him back. He's kind of going to be one of our guys on the mound. Mike Morris is back. He was a reliever for us. Had like a 1.4 ERA, went 3-0. But he played left field and played shortstop when Cade pitched last year. So he'll come into the year as our starting shortstop and have a chance to lead us offensively. One of the success stories from last year we had was Caleb Coker. Caleb got burnt at the beginning of the year and was in the ICU in Charleston and all that. So he ended up not being able to play till about halfway through. He ended up going 5-1 for us and basically gave up 1 run against Green Sea through a complete game, gave up 2 runs against Branchville through a complete game. So he was really, really big for us. Excited about KJ. KJ's our starting catcher. He struggled offensively last year, but defensively he threw out like 15 guys. But he was good for us defensively. And we get 2 of our most dynamic offensive players back in Whit Nesbitt and Hunter Mixon. Whit hit about 270 last year, but he had 26 bags and led the team in runs. So he can really run. He can bunt, hits the ball on the ground. He forces people to make mistakes. And then Hunter Mixon was hitting 350 through 20 games and got hurt last year. So he'll be back. He missed the last 10 games of the year. So we made a little playoff run without him. So we're excited about him.
You're on mute. You're on mute.
Every time. It's the second time I've done it this year. This is why Coach Espo's here. Anyway, obviously newcomers make a big difference in programs. What about some newcomers you got to have a chance to make a big impact?
So we got, we got a guy that kind of played some JV last year. He came up at the end. He only played 15 games for us on varsity last year. Dawson Beard ended up hitting 340 for us, ended up being a starter at the end of the year. We're excited about having him back. Some young guys. We got a rising ninth grader that pitched on our B team last year as an eighth grader. He was really, really good. Please Hardy. And then we got Barnes McConnell, Riley McKenzie. They kind of were the two basically dogs on our JV and kind of led them on the mound. Both of those guys are sophomores, so they'll have a chance to compete with us at the varsity level. And then we get some guys. We got some older guys that really didn't get a chance to play every day last year that I'm excited about, like Cullen McKenzie, Graham Newsom, Foster Matthews. Those guys were on the varsity last year, but they didn't get to play every day. And so I'm excited about what they're doing. They're working their tails off in the weight room and on their long toss stuff. And so I think we have a chance to have some guys that were on the team but didn't really contribute to be big time contributors for us.
No doubt. I obviously got a good mix of some older guys returning, and some young guys kind of sliding in there. Obviously, you talked about what you guys did the past couple of years, getting to where you did. What are some expectations you guys got with this new group coming into this year, and what you guys are expecting to take care of business this year with?
Well, we got to replace. We lost 5 seniors last year, and one of them's an all-state player, in Cade Cook, who was on the mound and offensively. And then you had Gage and Lawson and John Michael. Those guys kind of carried us from a leadership standpoint, and they did some positive things for us for productivity. But I mean, I just think at East Clarendon, the expectation is you got to win the region. You got to play for a while in the playoffs, and you want to compete in that lower state bracket. And then, as well as I do, it kind of depends on some luck and some breaks once you get in that lower state championship bracket. But I think we're trying to do things a little bit differently. We're kind of different. We have 3 teams: varsity, JV, B team. We'll have 55 kids in our program, 50 kids in our program. We ran 3 teams out this summer, but we are playing a very tough schedule for a 1A school. I know I sent you some stuff about something we were hosting in March, but like we're playing in the RBI, so we're playing White Knoll, Irmo, Sumter in the RBI. Non-conference, we're playing Carolina Forest, we're playing Socastee, we're playing West Florence, we're playing Sumter. Pamplico should be pretty good, and Lake City. So we're trying to play some non-conference games that are going to get us ready, because we know it's been proven that the last few years the 1A state championship is going to run through the upstate, through Southside or Christchurch or St. Joe's. And the problem for us is we don't see guys that throw 85. When we see guys that throw 85, they throw it by us, and that happens to a lot of teams at our level. So we're trying to play some games where we're going to see 85, 86, 87, and have a chance to be ready for that. I told some people, joking with some people here, I said our record might look crazy. We might be 8-18 going into the playoffs. But we're trying to play some teams that are different than what we are going to play in the playoffs. So we're prepared and we're ready. I mean, all the time. I mean, our region, Carvers Bay, like I said, has improved, but it really runs through Johnsonville. You gotta go to Johnsonville, and we play them twice, Carvers Bay twice. So your whole region schedule is really 4 games. And so because you play Scotts Branch and Hemingway, and those kids try hard, and they just can't compete at the level that we're at. So we're going to see what we can do. So we're trying to play some tough teams and just make sure we're prepared when we get there.
Coach, you kind of led into the next question here. What specific, we're going to narrow it down, what specific game are you looking forward to the most?
It's always Johnsonville. I mean, it's Johnsonville. I mean, really, that's the 2 games that matter for us. I mean, we play all these teams non-conference, and I'm not saying every game don't matter, because you practice and you want to prepare, but I mean, our playoff seeding is going to be based off of what we do against Johnsonville. Not discrediting Carvers Bay. They're very improved, and we're going to have to play well to beat Carvers Bay, but especially right here at East Clarendon, it's Johnsonville. It's just kind of what it is, and they're in our region. That's the games that I'm looking forward to, just making sure our kids are prepared and ready to go. And, the Baxley kid at Johnsonville is a really good player, and he shoved it up our tail last year. And I'm hoping that we'll be prepared and ready to go face them and see what we can do when we face better arms.
Yeah, Johnsonville's always thrown out a big arm. It seems like every year they always got an arm that comes down there and has a chance to be a big arm for them. And like you said, that upper state 1A, you got some teams up there that, they got a chance to compete with a lot of high-level teams. I know, Coach Stewart's alma mater has taken a little bit of a hit from an injury bug this year.
That's because they don't have the Richburg Rocket anymore, but it's okay.
Hey, Hey, I heard that. That's what they kept saying. The Richburg Rocket. I kept hearing that when I watched Coach Blake Barry. Blake Barry down here, so I watched his episode. Just kept hearing the Richburg Rocket.
You know, when you were discussing a couple of your players and you're talking about the 26 bags and all that, that's the first thing that popped in my head is you guys got your own Richburg Rocket that's down there at East Clarendon. So I mean they all won't come around. It's kind of like a generational type of player.
Yeah,
and I guess this is about that.
I don't know that we have anybody that good. We can't compare it to the Richburg Rocket. But hey, we got some guys that are good players and they're bought in. And the great thing about it, man, my kids, like I was talking about Whit Nesbitt, who stole 26 bags. He was also a receiver for us. He's gonna play guard in basketball. So it's different than a lot of places. You don't have to worry about some of those schools in the upper state don't have to worry about all their baseball kids playing basketball and all those things. So we're trying to figure out a way to prepare our kids because I told our kids, I said, you got to play schools that aren't. I mean, they're in the same classification, but they're not like you. I mean, they really just call a spade a spade. They're different, and it's just the cards we're dealt. I mean, not saying it's right or wrong. It's just the cards we're dealt. So we got to figure out a way to prepare differently to have a chance to compete against them because you don't want to get there and get 10 run twice. I mean, you want to see how you can compete, and those guys are going to run guys out there at 85, 86, and so that's one of the reasons I scheduled all those higher level schools. You know, I played for Curtis Hudson at Florence Tech at Socastee, so I wanted to play him, but I just wanted to play some higher level schools. So when our kids, if we're fortunate enough to make it to that point, it's not a shock to them. They understand. Hey, here it is. Here's 87, 86. Because I mean, when you play Carolina Forest and Socastee and West Florence and Sumter, they're going to run guys out that are pretty good. And so we hope when we play them, we see some of their better guys, so it'll get us prepared.
No doubt. Get them off and running and rolling. Well, we're excited. I know you sent me the stuff. You guys got that big preseason deal going down there. We'll be able to come down. But I know selfishly for me, this has been one of the better ones to have one of our former players on with us here and getting a chance to watch Cujo take the reins down there and take over at East Clarendon. So we're fired up. You're able to join us today, and we're fired up for the spring. So we definitely thank you for coming on today and talking some baseball, and we're ready to roll, and good luck this upcoming.
And I appreciate it and appreciate all the things y'all do for the state too in baseball. Y'all do a bunch of really good stuff. And so we're excited to be a small part of baseball in the state. There's a bunch of good coaches. So we're going to see what we can do and see if we can get our kids better every day and have a chance to be there at the end.